The tax filing deadline for Canadians is fast approaching. And if you're one of the millions of people who are now working from home, this Ask Money Talk might be for you. I'm joined by Tanis Dawson. She's standing by in Winnipeg. Tanis, the question is, I've had to work from home during the pandemic. Can I claim expenses like extra costs for heat, internet, electricity, or other work from home expenses?
So the way that CRA works, and there are two rules, is in order to claim home office expenses, you have to meet one of the two tests. So the first test is it says that you primarily work from home. And the way that CRA has done it is they looked at it on a calendar year basis. So that would mean that you'd have to work from home for at least 6 months to be able to claim that expense. So that's kind of what they've looked at in the past. And we're lucky because there is a law firm that sent in a ruling to CRA, and CRA said they will answer it. We're not sure when, and just give more guidance, because they're asking, like, can we look on it as a monthly test instead of a yearly test? And then more people would qualify. With COVID and just the situation we're in is a little different, and we've never seen that before. The other test is if you always go and meet clients at home. And that test is kind of hard to meet right now too, because even if you are meeting clients, you're doing it virtually. And the way that CRA has always applied that test is face-to-face. So they want clients actually physically coming to your house to meet that test. And because of it being virtual, Zoom or whatever, WebEx, whatever it is, even conference calls just on the phone, we're not meeting face-to-face. So they're trying to get a bit more guidance, and maybe CRA will come into the modern world.
Let me ask you then, Tanis, I mean, there's timing. We got to figure out, one, if it's allowed, what the CRA says, and whether it's month by month or 6 months and those types of things. But in terms of the type of expenses, let's be optimistic for a moment and hope that something might change. What are the kinds of things you might be able to claim?
So if you're just an employee and you're not commissioned, then we can claim utilities. We can claim supplies that are consumed, and I'll explain a bit more on that. And then if you're renting a place, you can claim a portion of your rent. And the portion that you can claim is you look at what's the area that you're using to perform your duties for your employment compared to your whole house or your whole condo or your apartment. And that percentage, then, if you take all your utility bills for the year and you take your percentage times 6 months, if that's what it is, that's the amount that you can claim. You can't claim if you bought a new chair, or you bought a printer, or you had to buy a computer or an extra screen. Those are classified as capital expenses, and they don't allow those deductions. So you're better off to try to see if your employer will cover those costs to get covered that way. So it's similar to a cell phone. You can't claim the cost of the cell phone. It's capital, but you can claim airtime or extra usage or long distance calls. And internet is the same way. They figure you already have an internet, so unless you upgraded it to get better service to do it, or you never had internet, maybe, but usually internet's a capital cost.
Let me ask you about, you said rent. What about those people who have mortgages? Where does that fit into the equation?
So unless you're a commissioned employee, you can't claim mortgage interest, and you can never claim mortgage, the capital portion of the mortgage. But for the mortgage interest, you can claim it if you're a commissioned employee, but not if you're a regular employee with no commission. And again, it'll just be a percentage, the same percentage that you use for your home office. If you're self-employed, then it's different.
And last question for you, if again, I'm being optimistic and fingers crossed that the changes will be coming, but if the CRA does come through and changes the timing and allows certain things, what forms need to be filled out in order to actually be eligible for those types of things?
So we need a T-2200, which the employer signs to say that, yes, you are required to work at home, required to incur costs. And so you need that form firstly, and then second, then you'll include it on your tax return. So this isn't something that's going to give cash in the pocket to employees right away. You can't do it until you file your 2020 tax return, which could be next March or April, and then wait for your refund or your reduction on your tax payable. So it's a long time out. So what we're saying is save all the expenses, have it all there. Let's wait and see what happens. CPA has written a letter to CRA asking to waive those T-2200s this year, because they know that that's going to put a burden on companies, because to file all those T2200s for that many people is going to take a lot of time. So we're waiting to hear back from that too, to see if CPA is successful in asking that.
Great insight as always. Thanks so much, Tanis.
No problem. Thank you.